Tú eres mi otro yo. Si te hago daño a ti, me hago daño a mí mismo. Si te amo y respeto, me amo y respeto yo.
The Mexican heritage is part of this community, not just because of the national borders, the way they've been defined over time, but by the people. That heritage defines the culture of our community, and the people here have their own way of expressing that. So I very much see that they're part and parcel of what defines a Tucsonense.
History is like a kaleidoscope. You move the lens just a little bit, the perspective changes the entire picture. One of the biggest misunderstandings that people have about Tucson is by the time the Spanish get here in 1775 and establish the Presidio, they're already mestizos mostly. They're already a mix of people. They already are Mexicans. And we become officially part of Mexico in 1821. You start to see the transition away from a military settlement to more of a civilian settlement. The first vote that ever takes place in Tucson happens in 1824. So you start to see a mix of demographics here as well. That carries on well into the American era.
So in 1854, when the Gadsden Purchase occurs, it's not an overnight transition. As we go from the late 1800s into the 1900s with industrialization and the arrival of the railroad, which not only makes it more accessible for people to move here, but starts to bring in more of that American way of life. The wooden buildings and also the clothing and the food that comes with the railroad. And we see those kinds of styles start to pop up, and that's when we see the larger changes that are happening, also socially as well.
One of the unique things about the way Tucson developed is the multiculturalism here. Barrio Libre is kind of a multicultural estuary where all these different people come together, and it's out of that neighborhood that I think the modern culture of Tucson develops. By 1880, Barrio Libre, what later became Barrio Viejo, was about 80% Mexican, and your African American population, your Chinese American population lived there. Just a big blend of people that all come together, leading to an intermingling of cultures you don't find in a lot of other places.
More and more young people are understanding how important it is to carry on those traditions. Sometimes it's expressed in food, sometimes it's expressed in art, sometimes it's expressed just in relationship. But it's something that you feel, and it's a very human connection, and it's something that makes community.
Mexico is in our blood here in Tucson. And I feel like Folklorico is a part of Tucson's blood. You have so many talented dancers and musicians here. When they keep going, when they keep dancing, we know that it's gonna go for a long time. And that's our goal, is to keep our culture, our heritage alive. I always tell my students, mariachi and music in general is to help heal the community. For them to be able to use that talent and those instruments and use it for something that's uniquely Mexican. It bridges generations. It allows us to demonstrate that pride to the community, to each other, and it helps to validate themselves, that they are worthy, that they are important, and that they are meaningful members of our society.
As we look into the future, that's part of what will always define this place. Certainly things are going to change, but you can't change who we are and where we came from and where we actually sit. This is a very special kind of locale.
This is a community space, and this is our space, and it's a space of memory. The community has always been here, we will always be here, and in that is so many stories, and even as all of us have our individual experiences, we are one.